We begin tonight as more than 2 years after Michael Jackson's death. Today, we have an answer. A jury says his doctor, Conrad Murray, brought about his death through gross negligence, involuntary manslaughter. The judge had the doctor led away in handcuffs as in the room, Michael Jackson's family wept. So let's get right to ABC's Jim Avila, who's been reporting on this case for the past 6 weeks and is at the courthouse again tonight. Jim.
Diana, a heart doctor hired to put Michael Jackson to sleep tonight will sleep in the Los Angeles County Jail. Conrad Murray, a friend and $150,000 a month personal doctor to one of the most famous men in the world, tonight is guilty of killing his one and only patient. Michael Jackson's parents, 2 of his sisters, 2 of his brothers in the packed courtroom, just a few feet away from a stoic Dr. Conrad Murray. The moment's tension broken by a scream from LaToya as the verdict was read.
We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Conrad Robert Murray, guilty of the crime of involuntary manslaughter.
Outside the courtroom, hundreds erupted in shouts of justice. And within moments, Judge Michael Pastor sent Conrad Murray in handcuffs and stripped of his medical license to wait for his up to 4-year sentence in L.A. County Jail.
Our sympathies go out to the Jackson family at this time for the loss that they have suffered. Not a pop icon, but a son and a brother. And I think that's most important.
The Jackson family leaving the courthouse to cheers. Joe Jackson saying cryptically,
"But there's more."
And LaToya, who had tweeted earlier that Michael would be in court with her, expressing pleasure at the verdict.
Wonderful. Absolutely. Justice was served. Michael was watching over us.
The jury heard 49 witnesses and saw nearly 400 exhibits. They heard Jackson's voice recorded by Conrad Murray's cell phone, like no one outside his inner circle had heard before.
I want to say he is the greatest entertainer in the world.
And while Conrad Murray did not testify, the jury did hear his voice talking to police 2 days after Jackson's death, telling them Michael was desperate to sleep and begged him to give him milk, or as it's known in the operating room, propofol.
I agreed at that time that I would switch over to the propofol.
It was a decision that cost Dr. Murray his livelihood and his freedom. As he'd be sentenced on November 29th, he could face as much as 4 years in jail.
All right, Jim, who has been on this case and following it right through to the verdict. And I want to bring in ABC's legal analyst now, Dan Abrams, because we were talking earlier today, and you said there's a bigger message in what the judge was saying in this case?
Well, I think it's going to doctors, it's going to prosecutors. By this judge saying to Conrad Murray, you've got to start serving time right now, I think he's clearly trying to send a message. This is a guy with no criminal history. This is someone where there's no indication that he would flee. The judge certainly could have waited until the sentencing hearing to make him serve time, but by basically putting him in the cuffs today, I think it's just a reminder about how seriously this court wants people to take this.
And doctors to take prescribing drugs and administering dangerous drugs. But I assume he'll appeal. Is there a chance he'll win?
Very much a long shot. He'll certainly appeal the fact that the jury wasn't sequestered and certain evidence that was admitted in addition to certain evidence that wasn't admitted. But it's going to be an uphill battle for him.
All right, Dan, thanks to you. And so this case is closed for the moment, but it's worth remembering the haunted man at the center of this story all along, preparing for a comeback tour. He once told me that getting ready to perform was a combination of high anxiety and exhilaration every time he walked on the stage.
Are you really anxious to get back on stage?
I miss the fans. Yeah, that's my chance to get to really, see them and feel their presence. When you do a concert and it's like 100,000 people out there, and you see a sea of people singing the lyrics. It just really makes your heart happy, and that's what really makes you feel like everything's okay.
And again, a guilty verdict 2 years and 4 months after Michael Jackson died at the age of 50.